west coast of New Zealand in autumn, late autumn. Just going to have a look at eucalypts and see what grows well here and what doesn't. I've just been trialling various species here. All these I've grown from seed myself. So you can see what does well and what doesn't. All of these are 5 years or younger, some of them are now quite large. So this one in front of us is Cordata. It's probably getting close to 4 metres tall, that one. That's the only Cordata I've got growing here. Didn't really have high hopes for them because you seem to see them a lot in drier areas. Rather than I've never seen them growing over here on the west coast. This one actually seems to be doing not too bad. So we'll see how it goes. If it goes alright, I might plant a few more of them. Got a Passiflora here. These are quite rare. Snow gum. Doesn't look the healthiest, this particular one, but really distinctive leaves, very leathery, bluish, and you can see parallel veins. It's quite unusual for a eucalypt. That one's been in 2 years, I think, and it's about my chest height, so probably about 1.5 metres. Still alive, so and these look amazing when they flower, so looking forward to seeing that when it gets a bit of size on. Over here I've got a couple of nitens. These two are from different seed sources that I planted at the same time, so I was just experimenting with different seed source to see what grows best here. You can see the one on the right is probably 1 metre taller. These were planted, these are 2 years old. So one on the left is probably 3 metres, that one on the right is probably 4 metres. That one on the right, yeah, a lot healthier looking. So it just goes to show the difference, a little bit of difference with provenance. Yeah, so that one on the right, really healthy looking tree and really growing fast. But both doing well really. Over here behind me I've got a Denticulata, the nitens subspecies. It's quite tall now, that's probably getting on for 5 metres. Not sure how old that is, it's probably 4 years. Nice straight tree. Didn't really have high hopes for the Denticulata, but they're really slow starters. But they all seem to be getting away now, so might not write them off just yet. This behind me is a delegatensis. This tree's now quite big, and that would be, I think he's maybe 4 or 5 years old, and that would be what, 7 metres. Interesting thing about this tree, if you can see, it's actually got flower buds on it. You see heaps of them there, even some hanging off the trunk. So not long till it's going to be flowering, at only, well, be less than 5 years old. And that would be easily 10 centimetres across at my chest height there. Got an ovata here, this is 4 years old, and that is absolutely huge. That would be easily get on for 8 metres, if not taller. Easy 2 metres a year growth rate. That trunk would be getting close to, would be at least 15 centimetres at my head height. So absolutely phenomenal growth rate for ovata. Unfortunately they're no good as a timber tree, but for a windbreak or firewood they'd be pretty hard to beat down here. This one also is massive already. Another tree that will be at least 8 metres. That'll obviously be a really good choice for firewood. Okay, behind me I have got some regnans. These are less than 3 years old. I planted these November 2017. It's now May 2020. They were in quite big pots and they've been phenomenal growth wise for less than 3 years. These would be at least, what would they be? They'd be about 6 metres tall. That's my head height. So yeah, really fast and really straight. Healthy looking foliage. There's another one I've just planted that's a year old, that one, and that would be over my head, so it would be over 2 metres. So they seem to really rocket away when you plant them out. Regnans. Okay, here I've got a 2-year-old Fastigata. I've only planted a handful of Fastigata. They're very well regarded in New Zealand as a healthy tree that can put on a lot of size, but what I've read, they put on their size later in life and are slower starting, and that's definitely been my experience. This one would be just a little bit taller than me, probably 2.5 metres, 2 years old, so definitely nowhere near the growth rate I've seen on regnans or nitens or ovata or delegatensis even, but definitely extremely healthy looking foliage, barely a blemish on them. Nice bright green, so interesting to see whether they catch up to the others later on. They're certainly looking very healthy. Got some gunnii here. This one I've cut the top off. You can see here, that's the remainder of it, what I've cut off. Reason I've done that is these things, all the gunnii I've planted tend to get long and spindly and just flop over. They seem to prefer growing height to girth, and they just lay down and get covered up with weeds. So even though they seem to grow alright, I wouldn't bother planting them again, as that one there, I'll give it a chance with its regrowth from the base of the stem, but I don't think I'll plant any more. They're not as fast as the nitens, ovata, regnans, delegatensis, and yeah, like I say, they're spindly. Even the one I've got that's 5 years old is not that big. So definitely better things you can plant. I know these are super cold hardy, so maybe if you live somewhere where the cold is, or frost or snow is a factor, these might be worth a go, but if you can grow the other species, I wouldn't bother with these. There's definitely better things to grow. Eucalypts camaldulensis here. It's a reasonable height, it's 5 years old. So I wouldn't say it's a stunning size. It looks healthy and still alive, surprisingly. I thought the frost might have got it, being quite cold here in winter. It is on a bank though, so maybe the frost still flows downhill, but it's done alright. Definitely things that are faster growing, but still alive. You never see these on the west coast, so it'll be interesting to see how it goes. You never see on the west coast, but common on the dry east coast is viminalis. That one's 5 years old, not particularly big, but despite that, it looks pretty healthy. Probably healthier than the ones I'm growing on the east coast. Doesn't look like that insects have bothered it too much. Obviously survived the cold. It is a bit colder here than on the east coast. So again, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Quite a distinctive leaf. It's a reddish tinge on the leaf tips. This has been here 4 years, it's probably 3 metres tall. So not as fast growing as the others. Not as fast growing as regnans or delegatensis. Still looks healthy though. I see it's starting to get some buds. See the bud clusters there. It won't be long till it's flowering. It's the only one I've got of this species. So keep an eye on it and see if it picks up pace. There's a delegatensis that's 5 years old. It's probably getting on for 6 meters tall. Quite hard to see. That's my head height, roughly 2 meters there. Quite a sturdy stem. These grow quite straight and seem to self-shed their branches pretty well. Lowest branches there now are probably close to 4 meters up. Growing pretty well. Some mystery gums here. I'm not really sure what these are. I'm interested to see what their fruit look like. Sort of quite strongly veined leaves. I thought they were ovata, but I'm not sure now. Don't look like ovata leaves. We'll see what they turn out to be when they flower and fruit. Okay, I've got a Denticulata here. This is a nitens subspecies. That one's, well, it'd be at least 4 meters tall. Good straight trunk, not as fast growing as the other nitens. We'll have a look at it in a minute. That one's 4 years old. It's probably about double my height, so probably 4 meters or just over. And you can see the quite distinctive leaves with the, if I can get the light right, the notched edges, which is a distinctive feature of this subspecies. Quite healthy looking foliage. So next to this we've got a true nitens. You can see it's starting to develop adult foliage at the top. Still got juvenile foliage down below. It's a larger tree, it's only 3.5 years old, so it's younger, but far larger trunk and taller. A lot more foliage. You can see the big juvenile leaves there nearest us. I'll just put the light up a bit. And then adult, long, narrow leaves up the top. These are quite healthy looking adult foliage. Looking quite good. So another delegatensis here. This one will be 4 meters. It's about 4 years old. And that one was bare rooted when I planted it, rather than being in a pot. So it goes to show they're quite happy being planted from bare root. Just plant in winter. Pretty healthy looking tree. Leaves are unblemished. Nice straight trunk. And now we've got another nitens that's grown particularly well. That one's only 2.5 years old. It's just starting to get adult foliage at the top, but otherwise very blue. This one's different seed source to the other ones. Very large blue leaves, the juveniles. Starting to get a decent sized trunk, probably 7 centimeters across at the bottom. And that one's grown really quickly. That'll be over 4 meters tall. Only 2.5 years old.